Alrighty, hello degenerates. It's been a very long time since we've touched anything duck hunt related, so sorry about the delay of everything that's been going on recently with me. There's a lot of things been going on in my life. It's been really hard for me to get back and cover Smash or duck hunt related content. Of course, if you guys have been sticking around the channel, which if you guys have, surprisingly I haven't lost any subscribers. I've only been gaining, which I don't know why that's possible, but either way, you know, you see, and I've been really recently getting back into playing music again, so I'm going to be doing more with that. I'm not going to be doing anything super complex with that until I do get software with it, because right now I can't really edit. I can just kind of go raw with it, so that's what you've seen with a lot of those things. But rest assured, I did want to get this video out just because I've said I want to do duck hunt related content for so long. This is going to be like my older videos where it's going to mostly be a live recording, but in the context of what this video is, it's going to work out pretty well. So this is going to be the hitbox visualization video for Duck Hunt. So thanks to Blake Von Commerce so much for her getting out these visualizations, because it paints a very clear picture of why Duck Hunt works the way he does if you've ever questioned certain things that happen. There were a good amount of changes to his hitboxes, actually. Surprisingly a lot more than I thought going into this, and it explains a lot of inconsistencies that he has with certain things. And with these certain inconsistencies and things, there are a lot of things I want to touch upon that will definitely help you out in a lot of matchups. So I want to get to that, but before we do go over, I do got to do some shilling really quickly. As you guys might have seen, we do have a brand new Duck Hunt dinner item available now. So is the Duck Hunt Dinner 2019. This logo is based off of Susuru, which is a brand new restaurant that opened up in my area. It's basically become the new Duck Hunt Dinner restaurant for this year out of the few times we did have a meetup. So you do got a premium v-necks, regular crew neck shirt, which comes in a variety of sizes. Each thing does have their own colors. For example, like there's only 2 colors that really worked with this one. This one's got 3, but they all are kind of gray, this weird pale blue or black. So mostly you're gonna find similar colors, but like that pale blue is like the one that changed the most. Even got phone cases. We even got a poster that goes sideways. If you're interested in seeing any other products, do let me know, and I will be more than happy to kind of change it up for you guys there with anything there, because somebody wanted the crew neck, so I made sure to add that. It's also the first time that I actually do women's t-shirts as well. I don't think they did have the options in the past, but I kind of like the way that these worked out this time around, so I figured, you know what, might as well do that. The other thing too is for you guys watching this video specifically, I am going to leave a promo code in the description below. However, it's going to be effective starting November 25th. So November 25th until December 20th. December 20th is going to be the deadline for it. If you do watch this video, you will get a 10% promo code off for everything that's going to be on the store itself. But with that said, the other thing too is I am going to be doing a donation drive for Sekai Doggo. For those of you who don't know who Sekai Doggo is, he's a Chilean duck hunt that's been performing very well in his region. He's been getting like top 3 at a lot of things, and it's kind of been consistent since his Smash 4 days. So Smash 4, he played a variety of characters in there, where this one he's basically solo duck hunt. This has been doing well. We're going to be looking to raise $750 to get him to Genesis. I think it's Genesis 7 now, or it's Genesis 7 or 8. Well, basically the next Genesis that's coming up. So that's the amount that we're going to be raising for him. And then full disclaimer, all shirts that will be purchased from from 25th onwards, those will go directly to his GoFundMe campaign. I'll update the description below with that GoFundMe link, and I'll probably be doing some more things with it as well. I'll definitely make another video about it, just so that everybody kind of gets more familiar with him. And I do want to see him go to Genesis. He's been doing really well in his region, and this will be his second opportunity that he gets to come out. Before, he was just at SCR, and that was really it. But with that said, let's get right into the video. Enough delaying with everything. So what we're going to do first is we're going to touch upon his normals that we have. So we'll just start off in the order that Actually, we'll start off in the regular order that we normally do things. So this is jab 1. Jab 1 is pretty much the same as it's always been. Nothing too much to change to see here. Basically, just a standard jab over there. Kind of covers the paw. So pretty good there. This one, just like in Smash 4, covers the entire head. Nothing too crazy there. Jab 3, unfortunately, did get nerfed compared to Smash 4. So not only is it a much worse anti-air, it mostly goes horizontal, it doesn't really get disjointed from his feet at all. It's basically right on model, where in Smash 4, it used to be an anti-air, and it used to go, like, pretty disjointed too, so it was actually really hard for most characters to contest it. So you could do like jab 1, 2, and then if you saw somebody approaching you and they were a brawler, like they didn't have a huge sword or disjoint, you could actually use this jab 3 to anti-air a lot of things. In this game, that's not the case anymore. Jab 3 did get nerfed pretty severely, and that's kind of consistent with most of his jabs. Like rapid jab, severely nerfed. However, this hitbox is very good, as you can see, but unfortunately, as you know, if you do it at low percents, people can shield it, depending on how it's connecting or where they get hit at initially. So this can now get shielded, but as you can see, fairly large hitbox. It is pretty disjointed compared to the duck, so that's at least good. Rapid jab finisher, nothing too crazy. Basically, it just covers the rest of the model there. So the thing that you will notice is that it does not stretch as vertically as the rapid jab. I mean, as the rapid jab. So the finisher, if they do SDI up enough or they get caught as an anti-air, if you've ever seen your opponent fall out of it, that's the reason why. It only goes straight across. However, as you probably have experienced in most of your matches, that really doesn't happen too often. But if they don't get hit and they got caught in an anti-air, that's sort of the reason why. But it's kind of hard for that to happen. As you see, it kind of is an upward diagonal angle there. So shouldn't really be happening, but in a very niche situation, it's possible. So let's cover forward tilt real quick. Let's do just regular forward tilt. So forward tilt, unfortunately, another big nerf. It only covers the head. Before, it did cover the entire duck body. So if, like, let's say somebody does like a spot dodge here, there is a chance that it may whiff. However, with the way the collisions work in this game, I don't think you really need to worry about it as much. The only time you'd have to worry is, like, let's say somebody does a fair and then they land right, as you F-tilt, they land right on top of you, then F-tilt's gonna whiff. So if you've ever seen that happen, that's the main reason for it. The head is the only hitbox that is active during the entirety of this move. So it serves as a pretty big nerf. However, of course, this move does now kill. It does stretch out a little bit beyond the duck, but not really. As you can see, actually it's pretty accurate to the model. So pretty accurate to the model, but it did gain some uses. So down angled F tilt, as you can see, it does poke below where the standing thing is. So let's get this as the bottom. Actually, okay, doesn't really look like it pokes below the ledge, but rest assured, there are a lot of characters that you can two-frame with this down-angled F-tilt. The biggest thing, though, as you can see, is you need to space the duck properly for it to work. So if you're sitting right at the ledge, this is going to be whiffing pretty much the entire time. What you need to do is make sure the head of the duck is going to be hitting the ledge, so that way you can get like that sweet larger hitbox over there, like that's kind of jetting out, and then that will be able to two-frame your opponents and all that. The other thing, too, is if you do down-angled F-tilt, it lowers the angle for it, so that way you get a more horizontal angle like this. So that way there's a lot of characters that have poor horizontal recoveries or poor vertical recoveries. They'll die a lot quicker. Yes, poor vertical recoveries. They got poor vertical recoveries. They're going to die really fast by being sent out at a flatter angle. And so if you do this at the ledge, it kills, I think, 12% earlier is what we found out. Something along the lines of that. So downward to F-tilt, if you are doing it even on the ground or just regular, not only for two-framing, but just killing earlier in general for a ledge setup, you're going to want to do this. It will kill earlier. The up-angled F-tilt doesn't really do too much. Basically, if you want to anti-air, it's okay. The thing is, you got to remember the duck is a hurt box the entire time. So if they have a sword, it's going to beat it out. If it's a brawler, there's a good chance that the slight little disjoint around the head might beat it out, but I wouldn't bet on that happening. Next up, let's do down tilt. Down tilt's a really good move. The good thing is it mostly deals with the frame data change that happened, but once again, only the head's a hitbox. However, that doesn't really affect this move too much, as just like before, it's kind of hitting the same spot that it used to, just like right in front of him. But as you can see, there is a slight little dead zone right here, so there is a chance that somebody could land on top and completely miss the down tilt. However, if you're using down tilt against somebody that's in the air, you're most likely just trying to low profile your body so their move misses. So in that case, it doesn't really matter if there is going to be that whiff, as you were probably using it so your opponent would whiff. So in this case, not the biggest deal breaker in the world, but just something to keep aware of. Hitbox is basically consistent with what it was with Smash 4. And with this one, up tilt, biggest nerf out of all of them. This move is absolutely pathetic now. Surprisingly though, if you do compare it to Smash 4, it didn't get as small as you might think it did. I can show you a brief little thing. So over here on the Smash 4 hitbox, you can kind of see that it juts out a butt like beyond the dog over here. Whereas over here, it's basically right on model with the dog's foot. So it's strictly an anti-air. And the fact that you can't go on top of somebody, like you can't run through them, means that you can't really get this up tilt to connect. However, not exactly the biggest deal breaker, as this move doesn't kill anymore. So it's just strictly a combo starter and an anti-air. So with that being said, it's not really the worst thing in the world. One area it did get better is it is better as an anti-air, as the hitbox is above the wings here. And if you look at the old one, the wings actually jutted out over the hitbox itself. But in this case, as you can see, the wings are not a hurtbox in this case, so it doesn't affect that too much. It's just the duck body. And over here, that actually might seem to be the case. I see the hurt box on the duck. Doesn't seem like there's any on the wings there, so you might be good on that aspect. So if that's the case, pretty good disjoint hitbox over there. And it did get taller, so that did make it better as an anti-air. But once again, strictly an anti-air only. You cannot use this on the ground. However, you weren't killing it with it to begin with. It just lost a little bit more utility overall in the transition. But with F-tilt replacing as the kill move now, I do think it's a little bit better. Up tilt was definitely better in terms of at least a consistent kill move since it killed vertically. But I do prefer F tilt killing now. It's just kind of a move you're gonna land more, and just generally, you know, the range is better on that move than up tilt ever was. Next up, let's go over some simple things. We'll go over some grabs. We go over standing grab. Nothing too crazy here. Same exact thing that it was in Smash 4 pretty much, except with worse frame data. Pummel basically hits the model. Nothing too crazy there. Pivot grab, just as good as it was in Smash 4. As you can see, it goes all the way out here. So extremely disjointed. Of course, however, because you can't run through your opponents, going to be way more niche of an option. However, if you're playing against rushdown characters, always going to be a good option to have. So as long as you aren't spawning a can or anything like that, you can just run up a pivot grab. And if you think you're playing against a fox, it's going to dash attack you or land with an air, a really good option to just kind of whiff punish them. So definitely keep pivot grab in mind, but of course, you're not going to have as many uses as you did in Smash 4. Then we do have down throw. Actually, looks like it has a hitbox. Okay, so that's interesting to know. So if you're playing doubles, if you do down throw, you are going to have that hitbox there. So good thing to keep in mind if you are going to be fighting any opponents. And then this dash grab, once again, just on model there. So nothing too crazy there. Fairly standard dash grab. Let's do some smashes. Smashes, honestly, didn't change too much. It's just that, you know, F smash now finally connects, but same distance about. You know, if you charge it more, it's going to go further. Unfortunately, can't really visualize that. But pretty standard stuff there compared to what Duck Hunt's always had. Down smash, same exact thing. The first hitbox that you see is the reticle appearing. The reticle appears 3 frames before the actual hitbox does. So thing to keep in mind, if you see the reticle come out before the hitbox, before it lands, that's the reason why for that. Up smash, I saw somebody complaining about this move. You should know that this is how up smash works. Basically, it's a punish in front of you. You don't really want to use this move as an anti-air unless they're short hopping around you. If they're short hopping around you, pretty good for that. If you're trying to catch somebody landing, it's better to go for down smash, and you'll see why. Because like this one is just bump bump up right above you. If you're catching somebody landing and they can't do anything, down smash is going to do you a lot better. It's going to cover in front and behind you, and it's going to cover in front of you twice. So overall, much better coverage for just covering somebody landing against you, where like let's say they whiff like a Shoryuken or something like that. This is going to be this option that you're going to want to go for, just because it covers both of your sides instead of just above you, which has a much higher chance of whiffing. Both this move and up smash are pretty good for catching rolls, just because of the secondary hitbox over here. Of course, if they're rolling in front of you, you got two in front of you, you've got one behind you. Pretty good placement there. Up smash, the reason why that's pretty decent for roll coverage is because you got that hitbox there, and this hitbox will basically hit every character besides somebody like maybe Kirby or Jigglypuff, but I even think it catches, I do think it does catch them as long as they're not too far away. If they get right behind Duck Hunt, that little part should still catch them, but down smash is still going to be better for that. Okay, specials. A lot to unpack here. So to give you an idea, Plague wasn't able to put the hitbox on top of the clay pigeon. So just pretend that the dog himself is the actual pigeon himself. So starting from the center. So when the clay pigeon explodes, this is shot 1, shot 2, and then that's the particle effect that you see right there. As you can see, the particle effect is really big, and it lasts for a very long time. So this is a really, really good hitbox to have. So that's why using clay pigeon as a mine can be a really good option, because you got to think like this thing is lasting for about like 12, 16 frames or something like that. So all these hitboxes are in one place. So as a mine, really good place to get coverage. And as you can see, also as a ledge coverage option to catch 2-framing, if you're able to set up the clay pigeon, this thing has you covered. Like it's going to 2-frame basically everybody as long as you can get that diagonal hitbox. But even so, the second hitbox that comes out is going to do it better. But this red hitbox right here, that's the one that you really want, just because that goes the furthest, that lasts the longest as well. Clay pigeon. So this is the hitbox of the clay pigeon itself. So basically the thing that hits the opponent before you detonate it. You want it to be, it's in the center. So the clay pigeon's about the length of the dog, a little bit shorter. But that kind of gives you an idea of that. So it can whiff pretty easily. When you shoot the clay pigeon and it doesn't break, this is the size of it. Basically the reticle is, this reticle right here, so is basically the size of the clay pigeon itself. So it gives you a good idea of that. The gunman bullet angle, okay, yeah, so this is just the angle of the gunman bullet when it hits. If you want to see how big the explosion of can is, this is how big it is. So basically stack 2 duck hunts on top of each other, and 2 to the side. So basically it's the circumference of 2 duck hunts. Overall, pretty good size. That's the reason why shield can be very effective against him. The explosion should just hit outside of you. So as long as you have it in the correct area, not going to really have to worry about it not punishing your opponent. Really, the only people that get around this are characters with a sword or a pretty big disjoint like that. So this is the hitbox of the can as it's falling. So it's not the exact size of the can, but it covers most of it. So when the can lands on somebody, then it explodes. So this is the physical hitbox of the can. So basically right before the explosion hits, as you can see, I think it's basically the same exact size. Yeah, it's just a zoom in difference there. And then the reticle shot, when you're shooting the can, it's a little bit bigger than the clay pigeon is, I believe. Yeah, it's bigger than the clay pigeon. So the reticle of the can hitbox is slightly larger, as you can see. The other thing too that we learned is depending on what direction Duck Hunt is facing will determine what direction the reticle shot will go. I'll show that off later. And then there is a wind box, but as you can see, the wind box of that is very small. All right, the most important and juicy part. I want to talk about forward air. As you might have noticed, this move got a severe nerf compared to Smash 4. So it only covers the duck, but like a very small portion of the duck. So overall, a huge range nerf. It doesn't even go like to where the beak is. To give you an idea of how much of a nerf it was, this was Smash 4. It was as long as Marth's sword, and it was even disjointed to boot as well, like up there. So you also had a little hitbox in the middle there that covered up a blind spot, but we lost that blind spot hitbox. So Now there's this huge blind spot there, and there's a big reason why I did want to show that, as you might have seen something similar to this happen while you were planing. So if you do fair and you're doing it against a character that's not large, like somebody that's got like a human shape to it, this can happen to you. If you ever fared and wondered why it whiffed, this is the reason why. The hitbox will not cover that area between the duck and the dog. It's only when the duck is first jutting out that you'll see that little bit there where it comes out, but that's like 2 frames. 2 frames of your move will cover between the dog and the duck because that's where the duck is. There is no hitbox in between. It is a huge oversight in terms of how this move works. This would happen in Smash 4 too, but the hitbox was a lot bigger, so it was very small for it to happen. It could happen, just didn't happen too often. So this one, you want to make sure that you're aiming with the duck with it, so that way you can actually like get the hit. And the only way that you'll hit between is if you do the early part of it. If you wait too long, then you get that whiff. There's there. Wolf is kind of large with the way that he maneuvers, as you can see, so him it's a little bit easier to hit because of the way that his animation changes, but you've got to go for that early hit, otherwise it's just going to whiff him. But yeah, so definitely something to keep in mind when using this move. Then the next thing that I do want to bring up is up air, because up air had some pretty important changes to it. Oh, I just realized. Yeah, I wasn't capturing gameplay the entire time. But yeah, basically, with that said, as you just saw, it kind of just whiffed him there. The only way that you're going to be hitting him earlier otherwise is if you do the early parts of it, or if you aim for the duck specifically. When you aim for the duck specifically, it's perfectly fine, but if you don't, you're going to get like that huge whiffing scenario right there. But see, because I aimed with the duck there, I was able to hit him. So keep that in mind when using fair. You want to aim for the duck more, unless you're specifically going for the sour spot to catch a to just do a combo off of that. Down air, this move didn't really change. It did get a slightly bigger disjoint to it compared to Smash 4, but overall, pretty much the same. It did get more disjointed there, so it doesn't end the duck. It goes a little bit below that, so really good for catching certain 2 frames. Also did get wider on the sides too. Before it used to just be directly below Duck Hunt, but the circle hitbox did get a little bit bigger. Overall, this move is still very niche. Unfortunately, you can't auto cancel it anymore, so you can't get those really good kill confirms off of it, or the reliable ones before. You can still kill confirm off of it, but pretty hard to do. Back air. Luckily for us, this move didn't really change. It just got stronger, which is what it needed to do. The other thing too is compared to, I believe compared to Smash 4, the sour spot did get a little bit smaller there. So it's harder to land the sour spot now compared to what it was in Smash 4, and I think the strong hitbox does take priority over the weak one now. But you can still hit the sour spot pretty easily. I think it comes out first. But yeah, back air pretty much the same. Didn't really lose range, so good thing with that. Up air. Up air is a very big change. So the keep in mind about up air is the hitboxes above him never change position. Smash 4, completely different story. One of the reasons why this move was so inconsistent was with the way the hitboxes worked. So as you can see, the duck kind of followed the hitbox kind of followed the duck. So it was over there and then up above. And you can also see there was like kind of a disjoint there. Whereas here, the disjoint is less, and the duck is at the outskirts of the actual hitbox itself. So it's one in front and one over there and then above. So the thing about this is there's only one way he can anti-air at the beginning, and it's if you face backwards, because over here there's no hurtbox until the second hit. And then if you do hitbox 3, then that's huge. That's a huge disjoint. But hit 1, disjoint is behind him. So one of the biggest complaints that we always hear as Duck Hunt players is specifically fighting Wolf Nair. So the question is, how do you make Duck Hunt up air work for you? You face backwards. So as counterintuitive as that sounds, this is what you got to do to make the dream work, so to speak. Okay, now there we go. So okay, there you go. Now you can see with doing up air facing backwards, that's how you can anti-air something like Wolf's Nair consistently. So pretty much you need to train yourself to do this to anti-air if you want to hit with the first hit at least. The other thing too is with the way the hitbox works is you need to stop your momentum, because the move itself is actually really good at connecting if you stay right in the middle of them. If you move forward, it's going to be more likely to miss because of the way that it just kind of brings people together. Because it very much wants to keep you just like right above them. Whereas in that case, like as you saw, Wolf kind of stayed in place there as I move forward. So if you're running really fast, they're more likely to fall out of it just because the hitbox isn't tracking and the hitbox is keeping them right in place there. So that is the important change with up air. If you want to anti-air a very oppressive hitbox, you do need to make sure that you face backwards in order to do that. Utilize that sweet disjoint that's offered by that move, and that's how you're going to make it work for you. That's a move that I don't think that they need to change. If they can make it connect a little bit better, like auto-linking things, that'd be great. But if you can't, I would say the hitboxes themselves, I don't really need to think they need to change the size and placement of those. As long as you keep that in mind, you'll do fine with up air. The only other way they could really fix that is if they made the duck head a disjoint. If they did that, that thing would anti-air beautifully. But until they do so, it's going to stay the way that it is. So with that said, I think we've covered every hitbox here. Yeah, we have. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this. I know it's been a long time since I did this. I'll see if I ever get back to doing that shield cam video if you guys really want to hear more about that. What I'll try to do is, unfortunately, the original project file is completely corrupted. Basically, I can no longer add footage to it. If I do that, it just crashes. So the footage exists and the audio clips all exist. So I can at least take the original files and repiece it back together. But basically, I'm going to be doing it from scratch again without the need to record. So it's just going to be assembling that. So if you guys are really interested in learning about that, I will go ahead and work on that. Let me know what you guys are the most interested in learning about. What I'll say is leave comments down below. Tell me what you're interested in seeing from those categories there. We'll pick, I'll create like a poll of 4 of them on my Twitter and on my YouTube. And then from there, we'll decide what video we make next on Duck Hunt specifically. I can't guarantee that the Duck Hunt videos are going to be consistent. I haven't really been playing this game as much recently, but I still understand it a lot. So if it's something that I can talk about and there's just a lot of confusion about, that normally gives me the drive to go ahead and create those videos for you guys. Once again, things that are coming up next, don't forget Sekai Doggo, we're going to be doing a drive for him. It's going to be $750 in total is what we're looking for. Don't forget the promo code that is going to be below. It's going to be Duck Hunt Hitboxes 19, or DHHITBOX. I think it's going to be DHHITBOX 19 is what I'm going to do. You'll find whatever it is, whatever I put in the description below, that is going to be the exact code that you want to use to get 10% the entire Duck Hunt Discord store. Don't forget, we do have that brand new juicy Duck Hunt dinner t-shirt over here. It comes in a variety of different sizes. If there's something that you want to see that you don't see on here, let me know. I can try to see if I can add that to the line itself. And once again, that promotion is going to be gone on the 20th. All proceeds from all shirts on the Duck Hunt Discord store, so including Duck Hunt Dinner 2018, Thanks for Playing, the original Duck Hunt Discord shirt, and yeah, those 3. Those will all go towards directly to benefiting Sekai Doggo's drive that we're going to be doing once that goes live on the 25th of November. So with that said, guys, that is everything I have to offer to you all. So hope you found this video informative. Hope you'll be able to use those hitboxes better. If you guys are interested in helping out, of course, liking, subscribing, commenting down below always is going to help out the channel. Not really sure what the future is going to hold for this. It's probably going to be a very random assortment of things on here. So even content-wise, I have no idea what's going to go on this channel. It's going to be whatever piques my interest at the time. Smash will always be there no matter what. It's kind of what I built my brand off of to begin with. So no matter what, I want to help out the duck hunts because we're kind of in a state of stagnation at the moment. So that's why the drives are coming back. We're going to be doing this. And do stay tuned for Duck Hunt news. There will be a large meetup I will be coordinating. We will be doing a coordination in 2020, so expect a video on that at some point. Probably around December is when I'll launch that. And that's going to be everything for now. It's a lot of information that I just dumped onto you guys. So with that said, keep hunting, have fun. As always, take care of yourselves.